Your activity here is considered a security risk and a trespass, and I will ask you to leave the premises.
You're still standing here, which means to me that you're refusing to leave. And I'm giving you direction to depart the area and leave the facility grounds.
Respectfully, Superintendent, you don't have the authority. Lieutenant, would you like to sign the petition to have the officers charged that murdered Robert Brooks? The policy can't be in contradiction to statutory or constitutional rights, can it?
I'm not going to get into a debate with you, but we can call the police.
What's your name, ma'am?
I asked you for your name first.
Are you the correctional officer, Anthony Farina? Yeah. Were you part of the beatdown squad? Come on, man. You're not intimidating anybody. You should be in prison. The irony that the correctional officer who murdered a man lives a few doors down from New York State Police. This is probably one of my most dangerous audits yet. Hey, what's up guys? Long Island Audit here, back again with another video. Today we are at the Mohawk Correctional Facility in Rome, New York. Robert Brooks was housed here before being transferred to Marcy Correctional Facility, where he was brutally beaten, tortured, and ultimately killed on camera. The footage of the incident is too graphic for YouTube, so if you'd like to watch it, and I highly suggest that you do, I will leave a link in the description below the like button. Viewer discretion is advised. These people are animals. Despite footage of this atrocity existing, the 14 correctional officers have still not been charged. Over a month later, justice delayed is justice denied. Let's continue to apply pressure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're just getting inside the correctional facility here. Let's make sure to record the correctional officers in the course of their duty, as is our First Amendment right and our statutory right, the New York State Right to Monitor Act.
You to leave. We don't allow phones beyond this point.
Phones beyond the point that I'm not.
Phones in this building.
Well, I'm not using it as a phone, it's a camera. It doesn't even have any cell connectivity with it. Do you mind if I get your name?
Record on state property.
I'm sorry, ma'am?
You passed 2 signs saying no cell phones in here.
Right, this is a camera, it's on a cell phone.
It is a cell phone.
It's not connected to any cellular
It doesn't
network.
matter. You don't have permission to record on the grounds here.
Who do I get the permission from?
You have to talk to the Commissioner of Corrections to get permission to record on facility property.
Is that your policy here?
Yes. It's
It
the
is.
policy throughout New York State.
Okay, but that policy can't interfere with constitutional rights or statutory rights.
What we're doing right now.
I'm sorry?
You have to leave. You have to leave.
But the policy can't be in contradiction to statutory or constitutional rights, can it?
I'm not going to get into a debate with you.
Oh, I don't want to debate with you either, man. You came to talk to me.
I've been told to tell you that you need to leave. That you cannot
Well, I'm just exercising my statutory and constitutional rights, man. That's all I'm doing.
we can call the police.
Well, you can do that. I have a petition here for the officers that took the life of Robert Brooks. Would you like to sign it? For them to be charged. Would you like to sign the petition? I guess not. We have a petition here for them to sign, so that way they can come on board and we can deliver that petition to the prosecutor's office, and we can get the correctional officers who took the life of Robert Brooks charged. Because this happened in early December, where 14 correctional officers shoved objects down Mr. Brooks' throat, choked him, kicked him, punched him until his life was ended. And those murderers got to spend Christmas, New Year's with their family. They are out free till this day, dangerous to society. One of the officers came out and said that they George Floyded him. That's what they call doing that. They call George Floyding someone, and they certainly did. It's definitely ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we're here. We're here to ask questions. We're here to investigate, exercise our First Amendment right. No one is talking about this anymore. The officers have not been charged. And again, it was a brutal, brutal murder of Robert Brooks. So we're going to try and ask some questions, see if we can get people to sign this petition here.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, ma'am, how are you?
Fantastic. Listen, you can't come in here with a cell phone.
I'm sorry, ma'am?
You cannot come in here with a cell phone.
I can't come inside with a cell phone. I'm not in the restricted area. This door's locked, right? I'm sorry?
What's your name?
My name? What's your name, ma'am?
I asked you for your name first, please.
Oh, I know. I like to know who I'm talking to when it comes to public servants.
Yeah.
Right. No, the difference is I have a right not to give you my name. You don't. I'm just asking for your name, ma'am.
I'd ask you for your name.
Jay Thompson?
Yeah.
Are you a supervisor?
I am.
A sergeant?
All right.
You too, ma'am. Take care. So we have a constitutional and statutory right to film correctional officers, law enforcement officers, security officers in the course of their duty. It's explicit in the New York State Right to Monitor Act. Officer, would you like to sign the petition to have the officers that beat and killed Robert Brooks charged? Would you like to sign the petition? You wouldn't like to sign the petition? Okay. Hey, sir, how are you?
Good. You speak English? You understand English?
You can go ahead, sir. I'm
Okay.
obviously speaking English to
State
you right
the
now.
following. Please leave the area. New
Can
York
I-
State Police will be called if you refuse to leave the area. Videotaping, photographing DOCCS facility property without the consent of the superintendent or commissioners prohibited by DOCCS policy. While members of the public are visiting, inmates are permitted to enter this lot and park their vehicles. This property is owned by the department, is considered part of the correctional facility, and falls under the authority and jurisdiction of the commissioner pursuant to correctional law section 112. He is empowered to exercise superintendent's management and control over department correctional facilities, and for safety and security reasons, he has been promulgated by the restrictions against the videotaping and photographing of DOCCS facility property by any person while present on the correctional facility parking lot. If you'd like to request permission to take photos of video, then you ask for consent.
You read that a lot better than the other correctional officer on Marcy, that's for sure.
Let's just read.
I know, but he had problems.
You can't be out here doing this. Videotaping.
Oh,
You got consent.
I 100% can. I have a statutory right to do so, sir. Would you like to sign the petition to have the officers who murdered Robert Brooks? He was housed here, correct? Hey, Lieutenant, how are
It
you?
was Lieutenant Leddick.
Lieutenant, would you like to sign the petition to have the officers charged that murdered Robert Brooks across the
I would like
street
to
at
advise
Marcy?
you that you can't be recorded right now,
Why is that?
because that's DOC's policy.
It's your policy.
I just read your
Right.
policy.
Right. So can I read you the New York State law? Which one do you think would be supersede? So I can't read you the law, but you
can
could
read
read me
it,
the
but-
policy.
So you read this in
Yes,
its
sir.
entirety? Okay.
Right.
I'm asking you to leave at this point.
Right. And I'm asking you to look up New York State Correctional Law 79P, Right to Monitor Act. That probably help you with your policy here. I understand that your policy is as it is, but there's laws that supersede policy that grant me the right to record you in the course of your duty.
Are you going to leave voluntarily?
What does that mean?
I'm asking you to leave. Are you going to leave?
No, I'm conducting constitutionally and statutory protected business. I want to know, would you be willing to sign the petition? Do you care that, do you have a beatdown squad here, Detective? Lieutenant, excuse me. Do you have a beatdown squad here in Marcy? In Mohawk? Sir, you look like you want to tell me something. You can hit me up anonymously. LongIslandAudit@gmail.com. Anonymously. I see you over there. You got a lot of stories to tell. I'll be happy to expose all the corruption and tyranny taking place here in Mohawk. Why was Robert Brooks transferred from this facility? Why won't any of you sign a petition calling for the arrest of the officers who brutally beat and murdered him? I don't understand. Seems like a pretty simple thing to do. Lieutenant, I didn't get your name.
Lieutenant Leddick.
Lieutenant.
So I'm going to read this to you again. I just ask you allow me to read it in its entirety.
Is that the same thing I was just read?
I wasn't out here when you were read something, so I'm not sure. So, please leave the area. New York State Police will be called if you refuse to leave the area. Videotaping and photographing DOC's facility property without the consent of the superintendent or commissioner is prohibited by DOC's policy. While members of the public who are visiting incarcerated individuals are permitted to enter this lot and park their vehicles, this property is owned by the department, is considered part of a correctional facility, and falls under the authority and jurisdiction of the commissioner. Pursuant to Correctional Law 112, he is empowered to exercise superintendent's management and control over all department correctional facilities, and for the safety and security reasons, he has promulgated the restriction against the videotaping and the photographing of DOC's facility property by any person while present on a correctional facility parking lot. If you would like to request permission to take photos or video of the facilities, you may contact the superintendent or commissioner. This property, while publicly owned, is a non-public forum which is not traditionally recognized or designated as a forum for public assembly and is this restricted. Your activity here is considered a security risk and a trespass. Again, I will ask you to leave the premises.
So, Lieutenant, are you familiar with the Right to Monitor Act passed by New York State?
I'm asking you to leave the premises.
Are you familiar with that statutory law that
Are you
gives
going
me
to
the
leave
right?
premises?
I have a right to be here? I have a right to be. I'm not a security threat. You said I'm a security threat. I'm not a security threat.
Are you going to leave the premises?
I have a right to be here, sir. I have a right to be here.
Okay.
Would you leave a place you have a right to be? Would you stop doing something you had a right to do? Would you sign the petition, though, to charge the officers that brutally murdered Robert Brooks? No? No one will sign the petition? Interesting. This happened in the beginning of December. We are now at the end of January, and not one of them have been charged. Do you think that that would happen for you or I if there was video footage of a group of regular citizens, not public servants, brutally murdering a police officer while his hands were cuffed behind his back? Do you think that we'd be able to spend Christmas with our family, to spend New Year's with our family, to be free for almost a month, over a month? Do you think that would happen? Let me know in the comment section below. Do you really think that that would happen? No, we'd be immediately charged. We'd be paraded in front of the world as terrorists. And I'm tired of it. I'm standing up to our government. I will stand up any chance I get. You know, they're going to try and arrest me. They want me arrested, not the murderers, not the brutal, cowardly murderers. They want me, an independent journalist, arrested. What type of bonkers, backwards world do we live in?
How you doing?
Hey, sir, how are you?
Good, good. Superintendent Montague. Would you be cool with identifying yourself to us?
Well, yeah, I have no problem doing that. I mean, you identified yourself to me. What's your name
My
about?
name is Sergeant Steve Farr. How you doing
Sorry.
today?
Yeah, my name is Sean. I'm an independent journalist. Again, I'm just here to ask some questions, exercise a statutory right. I don't know if you're familiar with the New York State Right to Monitor Act. It encompasses correctional officers, law enforcement officers. There's no exception for correctional facilities. I'm sure, as unfortunate that may be for you guys. I'm here to ask questions about Robert Brooks. From my investigation, from the news reports, he was housed here, correct?
So I can't answer any questions.
Right.
Right. I mean, you
None
don't.
whatsoever. I just can't.
Everything is going to be directed to Albany and the Department of Relations.
But do you condemn the egregious murder of Robert
we can't
Brooks?
speak on it. We just
You can't condemn an egregious murder that's on recording, Superintendent?
I just don't
We
comment
can't
on it at
speak
all.
on anything.
Not one bit. I just can't
It's
comment
such
at
an
all.
egregious. You guys should be protesting right along with
So
me
we can't
for their
speak on
arrest.
anything.
But
Can we help
why?
you with something though, or you
So, just give me a sec.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, ma'am. How long have you been the superintendent here?
Excuse me. Acting superintendent since
Sorry, ma'am.
August 12th of 21, and then the superintendent on April 22nd.
So Robert Brooks was housed here, correct?
I'm not going to answer any
You-
questions. I really wish I could. I just can't. In my capacity.
Is there a
right now,
beatdown squad here?
I'm not going to answer anything that you're going to.
Is it called George? Is it?
What I have
Sources
to-
have told me that it's called George Floyding somebody. What they did to Robert Brooks.
So
Are you
what I
familiar
gotta
with
do
that
is
term?
just You being here, I understand that there's laws about videotaping the peace officers and their duties.
Right.
We also have rules here about permission to video here by the commissioner or the superintendent, and that's not being given right now. Because, like, do you have a legitimate purpose to visit someone here?
Well, my purpose is to exercise that right that was granted to me from the New York State Right to Monitor Act. Again, there is no. I've been very clear
And then-
about reading the law, and there's no exceptions for being on correctional facilities.
We do have additional rules, though, that the videotaping would have to be approved by the commissioner or by the superintendent, which we haven't given.
But if that's the way the state, with all due respect, Superintendent, if that's the way the state legislator wanted it to be, they would have said you must comply with all rules from the superintendent or the police or the correctional
We've
facility
read to you what,
commissioner.
like, our reading has to be.
Right.
It's really
And
clear.
again, I'm just going off my understanding of the
I gotcha.
law that I read. You know, I understand you have your policies, and
Yeah.
I'm not here to antagonize any. I'm here to get some. You know, this happened in early December, the murder of Robert
completely
Brooks.
understand 100%.
This is now the end of January. If I were to, if something would happen to you like that, if I took your handcuffs, put them behind, and put them on you, and viciously beat you, shoved things down your throat, choked you, all on camera, do you think I'd be free for the holidays? I don't think so. I don't think I would be. So this is an injustice. I'm here as a journalist, exercising my constitutional
I'm
and
just doing an
statutory rights.
investigation, just that you're in our lobby videotaping.
Right.
You've been given direction that you can't really do that right now.
I understand
By our
that.
policy.
I understand that your policy states that, Superintendent.
All right.
I understand
All right,
that.
Listen,
I'm not-
everything's fine.
again-
We did call the state police because that's another part of our
Your policy, your
our
procedure.
policy, so they'll be coming here to talk to you. But
I understand. I hope they do the right thing. You know, as you probably know, I was filming over at Marcy, and I was trying to ask them some questions too. Again, I'm trying to get some names signed on a petition.
You gotta understand, we just can't answer anything.
But how? But why? But why would that be? Why would it be wrong for you to say I condemn the vicious, brutal beating of and murder of a man? What's so wrong about that?
No comments on anything at all. I just can't. I'm here because we have policies for when someone comes and does a videotaping, and it can't be happening. I'm trying to make it clear to you. That has to have permission from the superintendent. That's what I'm trying to clear up.
Right. Either way, I am engaged. I'm engaged. All I'm saying, Superintendent, is I'm engaged in a statutory and constitution protected activity. The law is clear. I've read the law. I've consulted with the law, my attorneys. Again, the law is meant to be able to hold public servants like yourself accountable. And I'm not in a restricted area. This is not for a criminal trespass statute, which I'll explain to them. It has to be enclosed and designed in a manner to exclude intruders. You know, I'm complying with all laws. Whether I'm complying with your policy,
yeah,
you know.
What we had to read. They'll come. They'll talk to you.
All right. I mean, right. All right. Well, appreciate you coming out. I wish you guys would answer some questions. You sure you don't want to sign the petition?
I got
Calling for their indictments.
I can't comment. I can't sign nothing. There's nothing I can do.
So if I wanted to do a FOIL request, last question before you leave, a FOIL request for some documents here, can I submit that here to this facility?
So you can send it into our FOIL officer, which is our inmate records coordinator for records that you'd like.
And that they're stationed here?
Yeah, and in some cases it might have to get sent out to central office where we might get advised that we have to do that. But yes, the inmate records coordinator here, if you want FOIL items, you can send.
I can send an email over to them. Yeah. Okay, perfect. All right. I'll wait for state police. You too. It should be pretty easy for them to condemn the heinous, brutal murder, merciless murder of Robert Brooks while his hands were cuffed behind his back. Should be easy for them. They should be, all of the correctional officers throughout the whole entire state should be calling for these officers to be charged, but they're not. Why? Because they don't care. They don't care. They allow it to happen. Hey, officer, would you like to sign a petition calling for the correctional officers to be charged in the murder of Robert Brooks?
Oh, no, sir, I'm good. Thank you.
You're good. Do you condemn that? Do you condemn those actions, those criminal actions? Not one condemnation from any of the correctional officers here. No. Hey, sir, would you sign a petition calling for the arrest of the officers who murdered Robert Brooks in Marcy Correctional Facility? Do you condemn those criminal actions? Very simple questions. They can't answer them. Hello, officer. Would you like to sign a petition calling for the arrest of the correctional officers who murdered Robert Brooks?
I'm done.
Do you condemn those actions? I will ask every single person that walks into this lobby.
Sean, I just want to ask, are you refusing to leave? Are you refusing to leave our vestibule in the facility?
Well, I'm just engaging, like I told you, in that New York State right to monitor.
To depart the area, recording and yourself to leave the grounds.
Okay, like I said, Superintendent.
Are you going to leave? Or?
I understand what you're asking me.
No,
I have an obligation to stand up for my constitutional and statutory rights.
You're not going to leave.
I have an obligation to stand up for my constitutional and statutory rights, Superintendent.
Are you staying here and not leaving, that you're refusing to leave the grounds of the facility? You're inside of our facility by being in this facility.
This is a public lobby. It's open to the public.
I'm just making it clear that you understand.
Can I just make one thing clear? Is this secured in a way designed to exclude intruders?
I'm telling you that if you're refusing to leave, you're still standing here, which means to me that you're refusing to leave. And I'm giving you direction to depart the area and leave the facility grounds.
Respectfully, Superintendent, you don't have the authority.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to make it clear.
Okay.
All right.
You don't have the authority to do that, sir.
Okay.
I'm engaged in a statutory protected activity.
Okay, you've been.
It's not personal. Is there a beatdown squad here, sir? You don't want to answer that? All right, fellow patriots. At this point in the audit, I thought state police would arrive and unlawfully arrest me, so I decided to go live. If you'd like to watch that live stream, I will leave a link in the description below. After I ended the live stream, I went to the Onondaga County District Attorney William Fitzpatrick's office. He was assigned as special prosecutor on the case because the New York State Attorney General's office recused themselves. My questions about the lack of arrest of these murders were met with no comment. I'll leave the public contact info for the District Attorney's office in the description if you'd like to peacefully exercise your First Amendment right. Frustrated with the lack of accountability, I decided to conduct an investigation into the officers individually. One of the officers that stood out to me from the video was Anthony Farina. Anthony was an active participant in the murder of Robert Brooks. This is him here kicking Robert Brooks in the chest while he is held down and handcuffed behind his back. This is him punching Robert Brooks in the back several times. And this is Anthony Farina smiling while a man is being brutally tortured, beaten, and murdered. Anthony Farina was never fired. He resigned, but not because of the shame of what he did. He resigned so that way, no matter what criminal charges he faces in the future, he will be able to keep his pension, taxpayer money. He was also sued in 2022 for brutally beating a man who said Farina was part of the, quote, beatdown squad. Since I was in the area, I decided to investigate myself and expose this uncharged, dangerous murderer, something that mainstream media should be doing, but doesn't care to. He is a danger to the community. So I decided to go to his community to investigate. While I was parked on a public street, Anthony Farina and what I assumed to be his adult son came out to confront me parked on their block. I then began recording.
How you guys doing? Hey, how are you? No, I'm not lost. I'm conducting an investigation. I got some complaints. Are you Anthony Farina?
Yeah.
Are you the correctional officer, Anthony Farina?
Yeah.
So do you have any comment? I'm an independent journalist. My name is Sean. Do you have any comment on the brutal murder of Robert Brooks?
You had a problem?
How are you free?
You have a problem?
Are you going to beat me like he beat Robert Brooks?
Get out of here.
I'm public street. I'm just, your dad just killed somebody on camera, brutally murdered him. It's on camera. He stomped him out. He stomped him out. It's on camera. Have you not seen the video? The Attorney General released the video. Mr. Farina, are you part of the beatdown squad at Marcy? Were you part of the beatdown squad? Junior, you want to be part of it too, don't you?
Let's do it, bro.
You want to be part of the beatdown squad, don't you, Junior? Come on, man. You're not intimidating anybody. Your dad had to beat a man while he was handcuffed. I'm not. Remember that. Remember that. He had to beat a man with his hands cuffed behind his back. You should not be free. You should be in prison. So this is the residence of Anthony Farina, the former correctional officer who resigned after brutally murdering Robert Brooks. He was one of the main aggressors, and then his son comes out while I'm conducting an investigation to threaten me. Makes no sense. Makes zero sense. There he is right there. Don't hurt me. I'm not hurting you. Don't hurt me. I'm not armed. Do not kill me. I know you're a murderer. I have a family. I don't want to die. I just want to talk to you. I want to ask you questions. What you did to Robert Brooks, that was called part of being George Floyding people, right? Is that what you guys referred to it internally? George Floyding people? Anthony, I want to talk to you. The irony that the correctional officer who murdered a man lives a few doors down from New York State Police. The man, a murderer, is living in this house, and he lives a few doors down from the New York State Police. Absolutely insane. I was parked right down the street right here, ladies and gentlemen. And again, I didn't know if this was his house for sure. I was waiting to see if I saw him walk out. You know, this is probably one of my most dangerous audits yet. I'm not going to tell you where I am or the street name or anything like that. I'm not going to dox the murderer because he does have a family that is innocent in all of this. I don't know about his son. His son seems to want to resort to violence for people peacefully exercising their First Amendment right. I guess I got the thin blue line everywhere. He has a plate cover on his vehicle. Can I get your name and badge number, sir? Can I get your name and badge number?
What's that?
Your name and badge number?
I can't hear you.
Your name and badge number, sir?
You're not a cop.
You're not a cop? Oh, I thought you were because you had the license plate covers on there. I normally see that with cops. No, I'm protesting right now. The man in that house killed somebody on camera. Brutally murdered somebody. Well, I can't hear you, ma'am. You gotta speak up. I can't hear you. Are you okay with people brutally murdering people? Wow. Absolutely insane. He called all of his buddies to come out here. There was another car that was taking pictures of my vehicle. That's fine. It's a rental. I'm not worried about it. I wish I knew what his wife was saying. But unfortunately, all these people, they stand up for a murderer. He's on camera murdering a man with his hands cuffed behind his back, and then Junior wants to try and fight me. Ridiculous. All right, guys, well, our point was made. I'm going to blast him everywhere I can. I will continue to peacefully exercise my rights. I'm not trying to get murdered by any of these insane people here. This is, in the country area. They might try and Robert Brooks me. That's what they're going to try and do. It's a shame that this man lives in a beautiful neighborhood. Beautiful neighborhood. The murderer here lives in a beautiful neighborhood right next to law enforcement. I'm sure there's other law enforcement officers in this neighborhood. And he's free. He's been free since December. Yet he murdered a man on camera for the world to see. Brutally, viciously, mercilessly, while his hands were cuffed behind his back. Never forget that.
I really don't have much more to say. The fact that the murderers can be out on the street spending Christmas and New Year's free without any accountability or consequences when there is a video evidence of them committing their crime is abhorrent. It's been over a month. The fact that I've been to two facilities, one that housed Robert Brooks and the other one ultimately taking his life, and not one correctional officer can condemn the actions of their brothers in blue. They're the ones who should be out protesting, calling for their immediate arrest. They don't because they're complicit. They are a gang. Shame on the prosecutor for not immediately issuing arrest warrants for everyone involved in this egregious murder. District Attorney William Fitzpatrick is soft on crime, at least when it comes to government agents. Disgusting. Again, contact information is in the description below. It's interesting to me that Anthony Farina admitted to me so easily who he was and that he was the correctional officer that I was talking about. It's almost like he was proud of who he is. Also, the fact that his adult son immediately resorted to threats of violence speaks volumes. Not only that, but his neighbors coming to his aid is also very concerning. Unlike the mainstream media, I will not let this go. I will continue to advocate for the immediate arrest of the 14 dangerous murderers. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, stay safe. God bless. I'll see you in the next video. Long Island Audit. Peace.